Hello, this is Case Ganem. I'm doing an interview with another author from the Ottawa area, and this is an old friend of mine. In fact, he came to the launch of my first book, Final Flight from Sana'a, about 4 years ago. And I'm now interviewing him because he has produced a very nice book, which I actually reviewed even before it was published. And in fact, my name is in the introduction there, in the preface. So this is Imam Dr. Ziad Delic, well-known Muslim Imam in this area, who has also lived in other parts of Canada and comes originally from Bosnia. So thank you for giving me this interview, Imam Delic.
Welcome anytime, Dr. Ganem, a friend, a good friend.
Okay, so you have produced a book called Canadian Islam, which of course begs the question, why is it Canadian? I mean, Islam is Islam. How come we call it Canadian? I'm sure you've been asked this question.
Certainly. We do understand that Islam is Islam. However, Muslims are often having different expressions of Islam wherever they settle. So there is a different expression of Islam in Saudi Arabia, there is a different expression of Islam in Somalia, there is a different expression of Islam in Iraq, Pakistan or Bosnia. Why not having different expression of Islam in Canada? Because then it fits into the current realities of place in which we find ourselves, be it politically, be it socially, be it culturally, even religiously. You see, as our religion, our faith, Islam, allows us to adapt, doesn't matter where we live. So that aspect of adaptability has given me an opportunity to rethink the title that I have had. So that's the reason why I've called Canadian Islam. And actually, many people would maybe disagree with the title, but I always tell them, if you really want to know what it means, then buy a book and read it.
Read it, yes. Okay, well, what about someone who says to you the wajibat or the farida of Islam, in other words, the rituals of Islam, are all the same whether you are in Iraq or Indonesia. You still have to fast during Ramadan, you still have to pray 5 times a day and so on. So they're no different. And secondly, the beliefs of Islam are still the same whether you're in Indonesia or in Iraq. So how is Canadian Islam different?
In Islam, there are things that are thabit, that are grounded,
yes,
unchangeable, and there are things that are mutaghayyir. There are things that are changeable. Example,
questions evolving.
They evolve.
Yes.
And Sharia is actually, or Islamic law, if it is static, it will never succeed as it succeeded. Therefore, Islam actually, way how we look into Islam, way how we live Islam in different contexts, evolves from time to another time and from place to another place. We are always contemporary with Islam. Why? Because Islam never stops us to be creative. Islam never stops us to think and to change, to reform ourselves. Of course, basic principles remain always the same. Belief in one God, belief in prophets, belief in the day of judgment, prayer. These are things that we cannot, alter, change. But when it comes to other social realities, Islam always gives us a space, to go through reform, to go through change. And therefore, it is very much important to understand the scope of Sharia. I always see Sharia as the stretches of the river. Mm-hmm. They always stay the same, but you can go deep down as much as you want. So with your interpretation, with your understanding, with your practical aspect or praxis of Islam in reality.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple more questions. One is, you talk about integration, and you said in the book that integration cannot be a one-way street. In other words, it isn't just that Muslims should integrate into Canadian society, but also integration should also happen in the opposite direction to a certain extent.
Yes.
But this is the parent country. I mean, this is a country that has been established in the very Christian kind of traditions. Why would they integrate into, or at least meet Islam halfway?
Very good question. From 2001 onwards, many researchers, many academics have worked on the topic of integration. Of course, in some settings, in some areas, some regions, such as France, integration is understood as assimilation, one-way street, where if you come to France, you are to take Republican, lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You totally change. You live in Rome, as Romans do. So you basically leave your baggage at the airport or on the border. Fortunately or unfortunately, world is becoming big village, and I think that demands from us that we accept each other's traditions, as long as they are not harmful to those who practice them and those who in which land they are or whose lands they are practiced. I personally believe, as one of the researchers, Vasta, in 2005 suggests, that it is indeed, integration is a two-way street. As we integrate within the society adopts some of the rules and regulations that were not before in the society, but to accommodate, even though I don't like this word fully, accommodation, to accept the other segment into the community. Example, question of hijab and soccer. If people do have certain principles of faith where they see hijab, even though some Muslims do play without hijab, but if some girls in Canada would like, example, to play with hijab, why should we take that from them? Why not help some of these young people, some of these young girls develop their own hijab that could be utilized for sports, and basically adjust it to the system. That is what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. As well as question of building the mosque. A mosque doesn't have to be like mosque in Saudi Arabia or Bosnia or Turkey. A mosque could fit into the environment of Canada, so it would look like other buildings around. Of course, it would have few flavors of previous, cultures where we are coming from.
Okay. And finally, how has been the response of Canadians, first Muslims and then non-Muslims, to your book?
It seems like I'm a blessed guy.
Okay.
I really do have a huge positive response from both. Mm-hmm. From Canadian Muslims, there are a few comments. There are also, there is, I have got at least 2 negative comments only because of title. And actually, when these people have told me that, title is not good, I looked at them and I told them with a big smile, first, they even didn't read the book. How could they judge book by the cover? Secondly, when they read the book, there is a process of debate that is very much present in Islam through the history, even in Sharia issues, in issues that are related to Islamic law. Not to talk about an opinion of an ordinary guy like myself. As far as Canadian from non-Muslim tradition or no faith tradition are concerned, it seems like they really appreciate this intellectual contribution, and proof of that is that book is really well accepted. People do buy book, ask for price, but even in these critical economic times, people are ready to give $20 for the book that is crispy, nice to read, good for coffee table, and nice Saturday or Sunday afternoon read.
Okay, well, thank you very much for giving me this interview. I'm sure it will be seen by thousands of people. And,
welcome.
Good luck.
Welcome, Dr. Kais, for everything and thank you for everything what you do for myself or for the greater Canadian society.